Hello, I'm James from GymTube, and today we're going to be finding out if these are the best budget lights you can get for your motorcycle. Let's hit these on. It's me in the Desert X with my new lights, shooting about the woods. Awesome. Now here's going to be the format for today's video. We are going to go out on the bike straight away because I know all of you want to see what these actually perform like. You don't want to watch the video of how to fit them first. Let's show you guys how well the 7,700 lumen lights work. We'll go out into the woods, get in and amongst it, in the trees, in the dark. We'll let the sun set, we'll venture out and we'll do it. Then later on in the video, I'll show you how to fit them to any bikes. Really straightforward. It's just going to be a positive and a neutral line. Then you're going to cable tie and run all the cables up so you get your nice handlebar mount here. And that's how it's going to be done. Now before we get on the bike, let's just run through a few stats, so the specs of the lights and the costs. Now these are absolutely badass, and the reason I say budget is because they're from a company in America called Carplay. They've been kind enough to send me a set for free. They're about £125, including the brackets to fit them, and that is everything you need to get them installed. Let's go through the stats as we run through the modes. So this one is your amber DRL running mode light. This looks really smart in orange. You've also got some fog light covers to make them even more yellow. Looks really cool. You know, you see those bikes driving down the road with the yellow lights. It's really smart. Then you go into this mode. This is the high beam mode, 7,700 lumens and 70 watts per bulb. So they're going to be super bright. I cannot wait to get out in this in a minute, take out into the woods and see how they perform. Then you've got these other modes here on the left switch, and they start flashing. So if you're on the high beam mode and you press this, you can run between modes such as this one, and then your side to side flicking, loads of different ones, and you can do that in the yellow mode as well. So I'm not too sure why you'd want to be doing that. There is a couple of cables you can wire this up to your flash or your horn mode so it can start flashing when you beat people. So that could be quite cool. Now let's move the bike out of the way so we can get all the kit out of the garage, wait for the sun to go down, then we can test these lights. All right, so we're out on the road. Let's go test these lights out. Now, the Desert X lights are pretty good in themselves. You know, as you can see here, that's on dip beam. Main beam's pretty good. But let's click those on. So now we've got the running lights. You can see them down there. I'm not sure how much you can see on the GoPro, but on the road they're pretty good. Let's hit these on. Oh my god, that is so good. Look how bright that is. You can literally see everything. It makes no difference if I put main beam on. Let's flick them back. Then we'll go main beam on the Ducati. And then look how good they are. Oh my goodness, that is just, I really hope you can see this on the camera. I haven't done a night ride before, so wow, that is ridiculous. Let's put them back down now. God, the difference is crazy. I think we'll have to leave them on. Oh man, that's genius. Well, as you can see here, oh, this is the best £125 spent, to be honest with you. Whoa, that is just, that makes off-road riding so much better. Look, yeah, we'll just go for a little venture into here and we'll see. Oh no, we're in touring mode. We got to change that. That was all like traction control cutting in there. Let's just change that to rally. That's the, oh yeah, that's better. Oh. We've got a little dip down here, haven't we? Oh, man, look at those lights. That is so good. I can't believe how bright they are. See, if you were riding in here now with nothing, even with main beam on, it's pretty disastrous. Like, you can see, like, it's not bad. But as soon as you put the main lights on, oh no, hang on, that's the flashing. There we go. You can see everywhere you're going. That is absolutely epic. Well, there we are, guys. There's your answer. They're absolutely awesome. I can see everything. Look, we're doing a little comparison here. That's with Ducati main beams on, and then our 7,000 plus lumens here. I think it's just the 70 watts on the bulbs, you know, they're pretty good. As you're going to see later in this video, with how you install them on the bike, you can actually fit these with the accessory live wire, so there won't be a battery drain. But I've had them on the bike for a few days and I've just plugged both the live wires onto the battery, and they've actually been like completely fine. There's been no problems whatsoever with them draining the battery. So I guess if you're using them without the battery on, with the bike running, you might get a bit of you know, being 70 watts each bulb, it's gonna use up a bit of power. But man, I've got no problem seeing anything in these woods. This is just absolutely perfect. Come on, man, I really want to know what the really expensive, you know, lights costs. You know, the expensive ones, 800-900 quid. Really keen to sort of find out how good they are compared to these, because these are lighting up everything. There's nothing I can't see. So, and these are the 3.5 inch ones. These are the D03s. They do a D07 on the website, and the D07 is actually, what is it? I think it's 4.5 inches. So they're even bigger. In which case I can only assume they're even brighter. So yeah, I'd be really keen to have a go with those. But so muddy in these woods. Tyres are doing well. I've got the Michelin, what are on here, the what are they, Michelin, I can't think now, Aoocci Wilds. So loads of grip coming off the Michelin tyres. It's super sodden, there's just mud everywhere. So, but yeah, these lights are great. So yeah, no complaints there. I mean, they've Co-Light claim that you can actually hold these under the water for an hour and a half. That's their IP rating. They got an hour and a half of to be completely submerged. So I'd be keen to test that. But obviously this is just a sort of first impressions review of them. They haven't been put through the elements that badly yet. So time will be the test, really, won't it? So I'll have to do another review on these after having them for a year or so. But hopefully in that time I get to review some other ones and I can compare them, because £125, this is relatively cheap for a set of lights that are giving off light output like this. So, but like I said, you know, in the comments, let me know what you think, and have you experienced or tried any of these lights, and what's your sort of verdicts on them, on the more expensive ones, or have you tried the cheaper ones like these? How long do they last? You know, what's the longevity of them, and are they actually, you know, are the more expensive ones actually worth it, or or is it worth just chucking a set of these on? You know, the expensive ones comes with all the drivers, the accessory drivers, so they link all up to your light switches. You can turn them on through your existing controls. But God, to save £600-700, I'd be happy just running these with the handlebar switch. You know, I can switch them on and off so easy. Got no problems with them at all. Yeah. Oh man, so fun out here in the evening. Isolated, no one around. Just me in the Desert X with my new lights, shooting about the woods. Awesome. While we're out here with these lights, got to show you this shoot. I love coming down here. It's in the woods near me, a local little route climb. Oh, this bike makes light work of that. Oh, nearly crashed into a tree. Just as I was saying, it makes light work. It is so fun. And this is what these bikes are all about, just getting out into the woods. And so thanks very much for watching so far, and stay tuned, because we're going to show you now how we fit them on the bike. Very simple process, and let's get back into the garage. So let's open the box and see what we've got. So, packaged well, nice and safe, wiring harness, bolts for the mounting kit. Co-Light have sent me these brackets for the crash bars on the Desert X, which are going to be handy to fit these on. And you've got the lights, so they come with a silicone protector here for the outside, and you can run this amber screen here which will tint them. So that's quite cool. Or you can run them without, and they're amber on the back, so you can set them amber mode, and then you can just run the LEDs. So they've got the running lights in amber, which is cool. And they look like real nice kit, you know, have a good look at that. It's looks like really well made. They look like they're going to be pretty hard wearing. So obviously today I can't tell you how these last because I haven't had them for long enough, but we're going to do another video on that in in a good few months to come once they've been tested through everything. So stick with us. Handlebar mounting kit. That was a screw, that's good. Which will, I'm assuming, we mount this onto the handlebar. Now here's the wiring loom. And let's have a little look at this. So you got your control unit there. Looks like you've got a couple of lives, I'm assuming. You've got your live here. That will go on your battery. And you've got your negative there. And what is that other red? That is ACC, so that will be your auxiliary power, so you can attach that to auxiliary power, so this will only power up when you turn the bike on. So that's handy, and it looks pretty straightforward to fit. You know, you've got on the two ends here, this is what will plug into the lights themselves, and what they are is a push fit and then a screw. So push fit and then screw to hold those together nicely. And then moving up, we've got these other wires, and they will be, you've got one for overtaking light and you've got flashing with horn working. So if you beat the horn, these will strobe, and then you've got your overtaking light you can wire them into. In this video today, we will not be wiring those cables in. You can literally just unplug them. Just because I don't want to start cutting all the wires and splitting them up on the Desert X. And I think just using the handlebar switch, which is down here, I think that'll be fine. You know, you've got your power on and you've got your running lights and then your main beam. And I think it's quite smart. You know, this is all CNC alley, which is really smart, and it's going to go on this handlebar mount nicely. So first things first, we want to measure out how much cable we've got here. So these are the ones that are going to connect into the lights. The other ones seem to have plenty on them, so they'll be fine. If I'm thinking of mounting that under the seat and running that cable out there, it should just about fit up there. The lights themselves have actually got a decent amount of cable on, so they'll tuck in nicely, so we can hide that. So let's get the tank off, get the seat off, and other bits we may need to just access all of that, and then we're going to run them all and cable tie them up. And hopefully it should be quite a straightforward DIY install. So I'm just going to put this out there quickly now. I'm trying to get this tank off. I've never taken one of these apart, so I'm just learning. And on the bottom here, I'll show you, there's a fuel tap underneath, you see. Now that is the fuel hose here, and that goes on there, up there and there, you see on those barbs. And I didn't know that this was the tap. I thought that there was a fuel pump inside the tank which would stop the fuel coming out. I pulled the hose off and it's absolutely just come out. It's all over the floor, it's covered everything. I popped the hose back on real quick, and then I've turned the valve off, I've shut it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll pull it off now. Pulled it off again, and obviously I haven't turned, because it's a tank that comes down the side, it has taps on both sides, so I haven't turned the other side off, but it's poured out all over the floor again. So if you're doing this on the Ducati X, make sure you turn those valves off. Right, now I want to say that was really straightforward to do, but it absolutely wasn't. The breather hoses that are on the centre of the tank are an absolute pain to get off. There's only a few sort of clips and stuff, that was all quite easy, but those breathers were a right pain. In the end I got some long nose pliers and sort of levered them out. So if you're doing one of these, long nose pliers on the breathers, that's the best way. I want to put these on first because then we can find the smartest way to route all these cables. So if I get the position of this right, that will be most beneficial. So these are the brackets, they've got nice little rubber mounts on them, rubber inserts, which sort of go like that, look. So, and then what I'm going to do, I think, is have it up here. So nice and high, don't need it too low. And then we'll fix it on that bit there. So you've got your left and right adjustment, and you've also got your vertical adjustment. And these brackets, look, just fit on pretty straightforward, just like that. And then you put your little Allen keys in them, and they should just clamp on onto your crash bars there. So we'll pop those on. Do that, and then we'll mount the light. It may be that we actually have to mount the light first to these brackets to get all the bolts in, but just for sort of sizing up, let's give that a go as it is and just see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I didn't want to put them too far out because then they're sticking out past the bike, and if you hit branches and stuff like that, it might pull one of them off or bend something or push them into the bike. So I'd rather they're sort of tucked in nice and neat. As close to the fairing as we can, and it'll look quite cool from the front if they're up on this part of the bar. So I think we'll go with that. I'm going to use the mounting kit now, the bolts to fit that on, and then we'll do the other side, and then we'll look at the cable routing. So here's how we're going to fit this to the bracket. I want the Colite brand on the top because I think it looks quite smart. I like the branding there, Colite, it sounds quite nice. And this is for the right hand side of the bike. So we're going to mount that in there. So you've got your mounting bolt, you're going to pop that right through there like that. You can go with a washer and then onto the mount, and then a securing washer that will stop the bolt coming loose. And I want to use a bit of thread lock on there because I just don't want these coming loose. So we're going to put a load of that on and then put that nut on the bolt and snug it up. Get a little ratchet there and we'll tighten that. Now we'll snug this up with our, what we got at 13mm, and what it's got is a nice little recess on the inside so it holds that bolt while you tighten the nut up, which is kind of handy. So we'll give that plenty of torque, and that's not going anywhere, especially with that thread lock. That's going to be solid, and I think doing it like that is the best way, because then, as I said, we can go left to right, we can go up and down. We'll snug these up nice and tight, so once we got a fixed position, we're locked in. So let's go put that on the bike. Right, now here's what we're going to do with the cable. So we've got it stretched out. I've removed a couple of wires that we're not going to need. We're going to pull these back. We're literally just going to sit this on the back seat because I want that control unit underneath there, really. I think that'll be ideal. So if we just hold that there, then we find the light cable. I've tucked the light unit round here, and I'm just going to attach it to the frame up here. Just tuck it all out of the way because you don't want it getting in the way of the tank or anything that the tank slides over these grommets here. We don't want it underneath that, so we want it right underneath. We don't want it on top. And we're going to sort of make that our routing. And then we'll just kind of find a way for these guys to just find their way through. We know with the control, the on-off switch, we know that's got plenty to get up to the bar, so we can worry about that later. These ones are important. And by the looks of it, look, we've got plenty here. Look, here's the cable coming out here. We can connect that together and we can work back from here. So most of this job is just cabling, really. You've got to put that in there, probably run that on the other side of that frame there, tuck it in. We don't want it against the engine, so we're going to tuck it to these cables down here, and we're going to work our way all the way back into here. It's a bit of a finicky job, but if you do it properly, it looks nice and professional. So take your time, get that zip tied up, and then we're going to go on to the battery terminals and connections. All right, that's the install complete. All I've got to do now is just pop the tank back on and a couple of the fairing bits and bolts. But let's have a little look at the wiring run that I've done here. So I've stuck the control unit on the back there, and that just sits nicely underneath the rear seat. No problems there at all. I've run the right-hand light cables down the right-hand side of the bike and the left on the left. If you look here, just run along, cable tied a couple here. We've run it under this cover all the way up the fairing here, and then just put it beneath everything, so you can just tuck it away, and then tied it there so it doesn't snag in any of the suspension and the fork clamps when you turn the bars from left to right. So they're on, and that looks really smart up front. Nice and tidy, no cables hanging out anywhere. Coming over to the left side, done the same with the cables, just run them all the way down the frame, up the top here. We've done that. We've got the switch up here. I've put that on the wind mirror mounting system, so it's just a little L-shaped mount. And that works really nice. It's solid, not moving anywhere, and it's really easy to get to when you're controlling the lights from the left-hand side of the bike. Onto the wiring, I've put both the lives onto the live here, so the accessory live, which would normally disable this when the ignition's off. I'm going to monitor it and see if this has a battery drain. I don't reckon it will, so I'm going to leave it on there. I didn't really want to dig all this up and try and find the accessory live, and I don't know how long it's going to be on the bike for. So that's the reason I've done that for now. And I've got the negative over here on here. So fuse is down there, I'll put the cables in. And that's it for the installation of this, really. I'll put the tank back on, seats, and we'll be done. If you've got to this stage, thank you for watching. I've come in the garage now because it's pitch black outside. I've enjoyed making this video. It's been fantastic. I think the lights are great. As I mentioned, I don't have a huge background or knowledge in the sort of light space, and I don't know what the premium brands perform like. So hopefully I'll be fortunate enough to test them one day. But for now, these have been pretty damn good. And for £125, you can't really go wrong. So check out the website. All the links are in the description below. And also the discount if you're buying it through my channel, because I've partnered up with them on this video. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know your experiences in the comments. Have you used lights before like this, or the better premium brands? Let me know what you think, because I'd love to know and gain some experience from all you guys. I love talking to you all. So yeah, hit the subscribe button and introduce yourself if you're new to the channel in the comments, and I'll say hello. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.